The national media never misses a chance to stir the pot. And once again, here we are, this time with a so-called pundit questioning whether Ben Johnson is truly sold on Caleb Williams. Now, let's be real here. This whole idea that there's some sort of uncertainty in Chicago about Caleb being the guy is exactly the kind of overblown narrative that gets created when people stop watching the actual games and start chasing storylines. And of course, it's not just national voices. You've got a chunk of Bears fans, even some local content creators, who still haven't wrapped their heads around the fact that Caleb Williams is the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Period. End of story. Whether it's because they didn't want him, preferred someone else, or just have some sort of grudge, they're clinging to this idea that there's a lingering doubt in Hallis Hall about Caleb's future. But here's the truth. That's just noise. The idea that Ben Johnson isn't committed to Caleb Williams is not only lazy, it's flat-out misleading. Anyone paying attention to how this team is being coached can see that Caleb is being developed, not doubted. Johnson has been publicly supportive, and more importantly, the offensive system is clearly being built to help Caleb grow into this role. Sure, you can cherry-pick a quote or a vague comment and twist it to imply something more dramatic, but there's no substance behind that. Tyler Dunne tried to float this concept that the vetting process is ongoing between Johnson and Caleb, like there's some open question about their long-term connection. But let's make one thing absolutely clear. Caleb Williams is the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, and unless he completely falls apart over the next couple of months, that's not changing anytime soon. Now, no one is saying Caleb is perfect. He's not. He's a rookie adapting to the speed of the NFL, learning a brand new system, adjusting to pressure, and figuring out when to take risks and when to live to see another down. There are going to be rough patches, mistakes, and missed throws. That's part of the process. But development is not the same as doubt. The Bears aren't sitting in meetings wondering if they need to bench Caleb next week. They're figuring out how to maximize his talent, correct the flaws, and mold him into the face of the franchise. There's a huge difference. And look, even in the games where Caleb has struggled, we're seeing signs of progress. That second half last week, much cleaner, better decisions. If that long touchdown pass doesn't get called back by a penalty, he finishes the day with well over 200 yards and a score, and the entire narrative shifts. The inconsistency is there, sure, but so is the growth. Caleb is making quicker reads. He's moving better in the pocket. He's handling blitzes with more composure. Are there still overthrows? Absolutely. Is he trying to force too much at times? No question. But again, that's part of becoming a franchise quarterback in the NFL. We've seen glimpses of brilliance, the kind of throws only a few guys in the league can make. The job now is to find more consistency and minimize the mistakes. But if you're watching this team every week and still questioning if Caleb is the guy, you're just not being honest. What's even more exhausting is that is he the guy? Question gets louder every time Caleb throws a pick or misses a throw. It's ridiculous. Every young quarterback in NFL history has gone through this phase. What matters isn't the bad plays. It's how a quarterback responds to them. And right now, Caleb is responding. He's not sulking. He's not throwing his teammates under the bus. He's coming back on the next drive ready to go. And that's exactly what you want to see in a leader. Meanwhile, the team around him is starting to find its identity. The run game has completely flipped the script. After being a major weakness for the first chunk of the season, the Bears' rushing attack has become a real weapon. Against solid competition, they put up over 200 yards on the ground, with DeAndre Swift leading the charge and Caleb Manengai having his best day as a pro. Swift alone had over 170 all-purpose yards, showing why he's such a valuable piece of this offense. But even beyond the stats, it's about how the Bears are running the football now, with purpose, with physicality, with creativity. That's coaching. That's scheme. That's Ben Johnson putting his playmakers in a position to succeed. And Swift isn't just putting up numbers. He's setting the tone. This is a guy who's clearly bought into the culture. He's running hard, taking hits, bouncing off contact, and delivering energy every time he touches the ball. Manengai brings a different look, more north-south but effective. Even Roscoe Johnson, in limited snaps, made an impact. Now, the big question becomes whether Roscon is going to remain part of the long-term plan. Because if you look at the usage, the writing might be on the wall. The Bears might already be leaning toward a backfield that features Swift and Menengai going forward. Roscon might be the odd man out, unless he finds a specific niche role to fill. But whatever happens there, this run game is coming alive, and that is massive for the offense as a whole. Now, let's talk about the trenches. The offensive line is doing work lately. The switch from Braxton Jones to Theo Benedict has made a noticeable difference, especially in the run game. Benedict still has some growing to do in pass protection, but his impact in the ground game can't be ignored. Darnell Wright, Jonah Jackson, and Joe Thuney are all stepping up. Even the penalty issues that plagued this line earlier in the season are starting to clean up. That matters, because when you're trying to develop a young quarterback like Caleb Williams, the run game and pass protection are your safety nets. And right now, both are getting better. Don't sleep on the blocking from the wide receivers either. Luther Burden, in particular, is doing serious work when it comes to setting the edge and helping spring big runs. We know what Burden can be as a receiver, but his willingness to block shows a team-first mentality that's going to keep him on the field even when the targets aren't there. That's the kind of thing that makes a difference when you're trying to build a balanced, reliable offense. And on the other side of the ball, the defense is finally playing up to its potential. For sacks, for forced turnovers. That's not an accident. That's coaching. That's identity. The Bears' defense has started to make a name for itself by being aggressive, by going after the football, and by stepping up when it counts. You look at what guys like TJ Edwards and Kyler Gordon are doing. Those are foundational pieces right now. And if the pass rush continues to come alive, that's going to make a huge difference down the stretch. So what do we have right now in Chicago? A team that started the season stumbling out of the gate, but is now stringing together wins, gaining confidence, and finding its identity. A coaching staff that's showing they can make real adjustments and get the most out of their players. A young quarterback who's taking his lumps, but showing he has the tools to be special. And a fan base that's finally starting to believe again, even if a few outliers are still stuck in the past. The Bears are moving in the right direction. And for all the talking heads trying to throw shade on Caleb Williams or create fake drama about Ben Johnson's level of commitment, here's the bottom line. The only thing that matters is what happens between the white lines. And right now, between those lines, this team is competing. They're fighting. They're winning. And winning, no matter how it looks, always tells a deeper story. The Chicago Bears are figuring it out. The wins may not be pretty, but they're real, and the momentum is building. It's not just about Caleb putting together complete games or DeAndre Swift racking up yards. It's about the way this entire roster is beginning to gel, how the offense is slowly turning from chaotic to controlled, and how the defense is no longer just reacting but dictating. That doesn't happen overnight. That takes reps, film sessions, mistakes, and leadership. And more than anything, it takes belief. You can feel that belief starting to settle in, not just from the players, but from the coaches, from the building, from the culture. Now look, it's not all sunshine and touchdowns. There's still a long way to go before anyone should start talking playoffs or deep postseason runs. The Bears are not there yet, but they're no longer the lost team from the first 2 weeks. That squad that opened the year with 2 straight losses feels like a distant memory now. Because this version of the Bears, they're scrappy, they're physical, they're adjusting on the fly. And even when they make mistakes, they're finding ways to respond. That kind of resilience is something this team has been missing for years. And now that it's starting to show, you can't help but wonder how far it might carry them if they keep building the right way. One of the most encouraging things you're seeing right now is how the coaching staff is evolving week to week. Ben Johnson isn't just calling games. He's managing personalities, adapting game plans, and staying patient with his rookie quarterback. That's not easy, especially when you know the pressure that comes with being a head coach in Chicago, with all eyes on every decision you make. But Johnson is showing a steadiness that this team desperately needed. He's not getting too high after a win or too low after a setback. He's treating this like a marathon. That message is clearly resonating throughout the locker room. And speaking of Caleb Williams again, yeah, the pressure on him is massive. From the moment he was drafted first overall, He's had cameras in his face, critics in his ear, and expectations through the roof. But through it all, he's kept his focus. The thing about Caleb is he's not afraid to take chances. And while that sometimes leads to missed throws or risky decisions, it also brings the kind of plays that only a few guys in this league can make. The goal now is to keep sharpening that edge, to find the balance between playing free and playing smart. And to his credit, he's trending in that direction. What Caleb has to learn, and what every great quarterback before him had to learn, is that you don't have to hit the home run every play. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is dump it off, hit the check down, or even just throw it away and live to fight another down. But here's the thing. The plays where he does try to do too much, he still has the raw athleticism to get out of those situations more often than not. That's a gift. It can't be taught, but it needs to be managed. And that's where Ben Johnson's role becomes even more critical. Because with time, you want those instincts to be paired with smarter decisions. And that's how you turn potential into production. There were moments in the last game where Caleb extended plays with his legs, avoided sacks that would have crushed a drive, and found open guys downfield. One of those plays, a throw to Swift on the sideline, was pure backyard football, and it worked. Those are the flashes you build on. Those are the moments that tell you the ceiling is sky high with this kid. But consistency is king. And right now, the mission is to make those flashes become the norm, not the exception. On the defensive side, this team is starting to become nasty. That's the only word for it. They're hitting harder. They're forcing turnovers. They're setting the tone early and keeping offenses on their heels. Players like TJ Edwards are flying around the field, making plays in space and leading by example. Kyler Gordon is growing into a real presence in the secondary. And while the pass rush still has room to grow, 4 sacks in one game is a statement. It's not just about one player dominating. It's about the unit finally clicking together. The Bears' defense is starting to look like a group that doesn't just want to stop you. They want to take the ball away and make you pay for every mistake. The front office deserves some credit, too, because even though not every move has worked out, they've built a roster that has depth and versatility. Injuries happen. It's the NFL, but you're seeing young guys step in and produce. That's how you know the development pipeline is starting to work. When someone like Tariq Stevenson goes down, the next man up is ready to play. When Cole, Cam ET can't go, someone else is stepping into that role and doing enough to keep the offense moving. That's not luck. That's structure. That's a team being built the right way from the inside out. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be the most shocking move of the offseason, whispers around the league suggest that Chicago Bears may be on the verge of landing one of the most promising young wide receivers in the NFL. Marvin Harrison Jr., the electrifying star of the Arizona Cardinals, has reportedly emerged as a target for the Bears' front office, sparking a flurry of speculation among fans and pundits alike. While nothing has been confirmed, sources hint at preliminary talks that could shake up the NFC landscape. Harrison Jr., the son of Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison, has turned heads since his rookie season, showcasing the same crisp route running, reliable hands, and uncanny ability to find the end zone that made his father a legend. Cardinals fans have been enamored with his performances, but persistent rumors indicate that the Bears see him as the missing piece in their offensive puzzle, a true game-changer who could instantly elevate Justin Fields' passing game. The Chicago locker room, long criticized for lacking explosive playmakers, would undoubtedly be buzzing at the prospect of adding such talent. Insiders suggest that the team is prepared to make bold moves, including draft picks or player swaps, to secure the young receiver's signature. Sources close to the situation claim that Harrison Jr.'s camp has not ruled out a move, emphasizing the allure of a team with a storied history and a quarterback on the rise. While the Cardinals have been quiet, league analysts speculate that Arizona might be unwilling to part with Harrison Jr. easily, making any potential deal one of the most closely watched sagas of the offseason. Fans on social media are already buzzing, debating whether the Bears' receiving core would instantly become one of the league's most feared. Could this be the start of a new dynasty in Chicago, or just another tantalizing rumor? For now, the speculation continues to swirl, and one thing is certain. Wherever Marvin Harrison Jr. lands, he's set to make headlines. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.